Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for another vegan and gluten-free recipe. I'm filming this episode in October. We're well into the autumn season here in Minnesota and I wanted to keep my streak of fall recipes going, so I decided to make this batch of apple cinnamon muffins. There's 10 ingredients going into these apple cinnamon muffins, so let's go through each of them one by one super quickly. First up, there's 2 1/3 cups of gluten-free flour. There's also 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a pinch of salt, 1½ pink lady apples, 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk, 1/2 cup of coconut oil, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and finally 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. There's 9 steps to this apple cinnamon muffin recipe, and I've linked it down below if you'd like to follow along with me at home and make some of these muffins yourself. For step number 1, I'll chop up 1½ of these 2 pink lady apples into small pieces. As I'm chopping up the pink lady, I'll be sure to keep the 1 whole pink lady apple that I chopped down separate from the 1/2 of the other one, and that's because some of the chopped apple is going into the muffin batter and some of the chopped apple is going on top of the muffins, as you'll see shortly. For step number 2, I'll mix all of the dry ingredients into a glass bowl, so that's the gluten-free flour, the light brown sugar, the baking powder, the cinnamon, and the salt. For step number 3, I'll add all of the wet ingredients into the dry ingredient mixture except for the chopped apple, so those ingredients will be the coconut oil, the almond milk, the apple cider vinegar, and the vanilla extract. Once the batter is looking well combined in the glass bowl, I'll move on to step number 4, which is to then mix in 1 whole chopped pink lady apple. For step number 5, I'll spoon the muffin batter into a 12-cup lined muffin tin, which I have all ready to go off to the side here. For step number 6, I'll take the remaining 1/2 of a chopped pink lady apple and I'll sprinkle those pieces over the muffin batter in the muffin tin. For step number 7, I'll place the muffin tin into my oven and bake the muffins for 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. For step number 8, I'll remove the muffin tin from my oven and let the muffins cool off for about 15 minutes. And then for step number 9, the very last step of this recipe, I'll dish up the muffins, show you a close-up, dig into at least a couple of them, and let you know what I think. Now that we've gone through all the ingredients and all the recipe steps for these apple cinnamon muffins, let's get started with step number 1, which is to chop up 1½ of these beautiful pink lady apples. Aren't these just so precious? I can't remember the last time I had a muffin or a cupcake or anything like this that had pieces of fruit on the top. These are making me want to get out to an apple orchard, which is one of my favorite autumn activities. And I should mention here too that pink ladies are my absolute favorite type of apple. They're so good. I like that they're semi-sweet but a little tart as well. I just want to give you a close-up of one of these guys. I love that you can see little flecks of cinnamon if you look closely enough. Also, a little pro tip for you, if you're ever making muffins, I suggest putting a tiny bit of coconut oil inside and just rubbing it around. It really helps the liner come away from the muffin. And now to dig into one of these beautiful pink lady cinnamon apple muffins. All right, here we go. Whoa. Oh my gosh. It's reminding me of fruitcake I've had, and also maybe like apple strudel. I'm trying to think of like German pastries or some kind of European pastry that I had at some point that does have little pieces of fruit inside. These are seriously dangerous, so I recommend, if possible, making these for a group of friends or an office party or some kind of group activity, so that unlike I am right now, you're not stuck with a dozen of these on your hands, because guess who's going to be eating all of these muffins most likely? me. I love the addition of the apple chunks into the muffin batter because it makes them so moist on the inside. I think they'd be fine without the apple chunks, but it just adds a little bit more moisture and extra apple flavor to these, which is exactly what I wanted. I definitely think I know what's for breakfast for me tomorrow and probably for the next few days. Let's just say it's not my Cheerios or the Catalina Crunch that I normally eat for breakfast. That's everything for this episode. I hope you enjoyed yet another autumn recipe on this channel, and definitely let me know what you thought of this recipe if you decide to try it out, or just visually how you think these ones turned out. If you're in the mood for other sweet recipes, both of which I think are permissible for breakfast, just in my opinion, not everyone might think this, I've got 2 recipes linked for you at the end of this video. One of them is a chocolate chip carrot and zucchini muffin recipe. I know it might sound a little strange, but just think of it as your traditional chocolate chip muffins, but with some veggies thrown in for a little added bonus. And the second recipe I've linked for you is an apple rhubarb crumble. This may not be acceptable as a breakfast dish, but I certainly ate mine for breakfast when I had many leftovers. Feel free to check out either or both of those videos, and if you're curious to see other recipes I've made, just head on over to my channel, check out my long form videos, and see which recipes look good to you. That's all for now, so take care, my lovely foodies, eat well, and I will see you in the next episode on this channel. Bye!